chat for the new individuals that chose to join us, because you could have been anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter about your background, your religion, your culture, your preference. It doesn't matter about any of those things. The only thing that matters is that you come with a positive energy to get those positive results. So super, super excited. First and foremost, announcements. Let me show you something, y'all. Boom, 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 boom. As we are gearing up, things are starting to look even better, right? Boom. If you haven't yet, go ahead and lock in your spot. Once you can see the page, lock in your spot, right? Lock in your spot. If you can go all the way down to the bottom right here, hiddenwealthsociety.com. If you come down here, ladies and gents, you can go ahead and fill out the page. If you want to get started before launch day, this is your price right now. If you get started on launch day, that's 12 noon. That's 12 noon Monday on the 1st, 12 noon Monday. The price is going up to this, okay? And then every 28 days, this is what you charge, okay? Okay, so everybody right now is getting charged, won't have to get charged until, the 29th of next month. So we're super excited about that. So if you haven't yet, lock in your spot. If you don't want to lock in your spot, but you want to come up to date, boom, go ahead and put in the information here. We do have a few testimonials. Oh, there go Miss Middleton. That's Miss Middleton right there. We got, S. Grant. Okay. Oh, Uncle Savoy. Okay, I see you. Oh, Sister Blue Savoy. Okay. So we got some testimonies. Sister Barnes. Okay. Oh, Miss Johnson, Sister Johnson, Sister Denise. Okay, so we got some testimonials, some real testimonials as well on the site. So if you want to know a little bit more after the fact, see what people are saying, and these are living people that's actually here right now as well. And also the last reminder, let me see if I can go to it. I don't know if you all saw it yet. Boom, we do have our presentation video. We have a full presentation video now that you can go see or share with whoever you want to share with. A full presentation, less than 13 minutes, ladies and gents. So we're getting better, and betterer. If you're excited about that, go ahead and put whatever you want in the chat. I'm super excited. But with that said, let me go ahead and get myself out of the way, because I want to introduce you all to a gentleman that really doesn't need an introduction. Some of you all have heard from this gentleman before, have heard him speak before. Him and his wife was just featured on a worldwide website podcast. Was flown out to Texas, and hundreds and thousands of people have watched it, right? And very inspirational. I'm super excited because we have him here with us this evening. He was my first mentor when it comes to network marketing. He was traveling from DMV area, Baltimore, all the way down to Atlanta, Georgia every weekend to help me build my business, to teach me about this industry. And honestly, I can honestly say full-heartedly, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be speaking to you. I wouldn't be where I am today, because with his training and his leadership, I saw what needed to be done. And he delivered the information in such a way. He influenced me to do the right things when it came to this industry, right? And always influenced me to do the right things, even when the right things isn't the most popular thing to do. He said, do the right thing, because you always get the right results. And we're here today. He's here with us today, and I'm super excited for him. He's like a brother to me. I've been knowing him for close to 13 years now. Him and his family, knew a lot of his children before they was born, because I knew him, right? And I saw some of his children, 3 of them, be born, right? Spending time with him and his wife, and traveled the world or the United States with him on the road, many stories. And I'm just honored that he chose to do business with us, and he's bringing his expertise to the fold. Definitely been making money in this industry for many years, still traveling the United States, working for a Fortune 500 company, training their leadership and their customers as well. And it's so much that I can say But I want each and every one of you all to start putting love and fires in the chat right now. Love and fires in the chat, because what you're going to receive today is going to be second to none, and it's going to be first class. It's going to be first class, ladies and gents. So with no further ado, I'm going to introduce you all, some of you all, and reintroduce to everyone else. Mr. Rasan Greer, are you on the line, sir?
I am, sir. Am I coming in clearly?
Loud and clear. The call's yours.
Fantastic. Well, listen, guys, before I get started this evening, I definitely want to give it back up to Mr. Bay. Akil and I now have been friends and working in business. Now, I think we're coming up on, this is our 12th year we're coming up on here, you know, so it's one thing to know somebody in the business world only, but it's another thing to know them in the business world as well as in their personal life. And I've been able to, you know, talk to, meet, and interact with a lot of positive individuals, as well as a lot of professionals. And it's interesting sometimes the people that you see on stage aren't the same people that you see when they're off stage. One thing I can say about Akil Bay is that he's the same person no matter where you meet him. Whether you're seeing him on stage at a Forex training convention or you're talking to him at a restaurant, he's the exact same individual 100% of the time. And what I love about that is that because of his integrity, guys, and what he's been able to do, people have left prior companies to follow him. You know, one of my mentors told me a long time ago, people will quit on a company long before they quit on a friend. And when you see the vision that he has planned out for this company, guys, I just want to let you all know right now, we're all blessed and privileged to be in business with somebody of his caliber, guys, that's putting everything on the line to make sure all of our families are winning. So if you guys could just throw some fire in the chat, let's give it back to Mr. Akil Bay before we get started. With that being said, guys, my name is Rasan Greer. I want to warn some of you guys right now, because this might be your first time hearing me speak. I don't hold back. You know, one thing I've always been a big fan of is I'd rather hear the harsh truth than a pretty lie. And what I want to give you guys tonight, guys, is what I want to call the realities before success. See, we're going into a launch phase here with the company we've had now for the last couple of weeks. And what I'm so excited about is that we're literally days away before this company goes national, guys, and everybody knows about it. And you all that are taking advantage of it right now are at a critical point before we actually go live with everybody, guys. So I'm very excited about it. But in being in business now and being an entrepreneur for the last 20 years, I've realized there's certain things that we see, that we know about entrepreneurship, that we see the glitz, we see the glamour. I always say you see the glory, but you don't know the story, right? And so what I want to give you guys tonight is a reality check of what we are about to embark in when it comes to the opportunity itself, so that you guys can be prepared when it comes to it. Because it's interesting, because I live in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I'm 41 years old. I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. And I've been trying to work out a lot lately. And if you guys could, I enjoy interaction. If you're physically able to, turn your cameras on, because I want to be able to see the people that I'm talking to, if you don't mind. But it's something about when you hit 40 years old, guys, you just got to do a lot more to stay in shape. We have our health and wellness coaches on the line, so they already know what I'm talking about. It was a situation where when I was in my 20s, I could eat fried chicken, I could eat pizza, I could eat cheesesteaks and not gain a pound. But it's like when you hit 40, your chest goes from up here down to here. Can you agree with me, man? Yeah, man, you shake your head if you know what I'm talking about. Now, ladies, don't y'all laugh too hard, because y'all got your own situations going on, right? But see, one thing about it is that I had to realize, okay, the lifestyle that I lived in my 20s and my 30s, I can't continue that lifestyle in my 40s and 50s and expect to operate at that same caliber. So I've been going into the gym pretty heavily now over the last, I think it's been about 8 months now. And it was interesting because I go to Lifetime, and what's interesting about that gym there is that when I was going in Q4, it was cool. I could have every machine I needed. I was really ready to rock and roll. But it was interesting when January 1st hit, it seemed like I pulled into the parking lot of the gym and I had to park at the far end of the parking lot. Like the whole parking lot was full, right? And so I had to now park in the back of the parking lot. I got to walk to the gym. And you know, guys, the workout don't count until you actually are in the gym, right? So I'm wasting calories that don't count towards my actual goal. So I'm getting into the gym, and when I get into the gym now, I go up to the second floor where all the equipment is at, and every machine is taken. Not only is it taken, but it's a line to get on every single machine. So once you do get into your weight bench, you do one set and you go get to another machine, you got to wait 10 to 15 minutes before you're able to get your next set in. And so your heart rate is constantly going up and down, up and down. You're not able to keep at that high metabolic rate. And so I went to the gym manager, who am I? Thinking I'm somebody special. I go to the gym manager and I'm like, hey, look, man, your gym is too small. I need y'all to think about expanding. My membership here, I'm not paying no nickels and dimes. This is not Planet Fitness. This is Lifetime, right? And no offense to Planet Fitness, guys, but y'all who got Lifetime, Mrs. Bay, you know what I'm talking about. We pay top dollar to be able to use this high-end facility. And what's interesting about it was, I was like, look, man, I need you to talk about expansion. I need you guys to get some more machines. I need you guys to increase your parking lot. I need you guys to think about expanding this facility so like people like me who have this guaranteed idea of wanting to get in shape, we got our New Year's resolutions. We have our equipment, we have our clothes, we have our mindset, but all we need now is the facility. I need you to expand. This is what he told me. Sean, he calls me Sean for short. He said, Sean, go home and chill for a minute. Come back in 2 weeks and then come holler at me. So that's what I did. I went home. First couple of weeks, I just kind of, chilled out a little bit, did a little bit of cardio while I was at the house, some push-ups and sit-ups and everything. And then I went back to the gym. And here's what was interesting. I went back to the gym in late January and the parking lot was almost empty. Not only could I pull in, I was able to park right there in that front row by the door. I go inside the gym now, and people were in there working out, but it was nowhere near as many people as it was 2 years prior. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, did he expand the gym in the last 2 weeks? And what I had to realize is that the gym was the same. He didn't expand the gym. It's that most people that created New Year's resolutions give up on their dreams and goals within 2 weeks of beginning that new year. I don't want that to be you guys. Every single one of us, we're joining Hitting Well Society, and we have a goal, we have a vision, we have a plan for our families, and we see a possibility of where we can be because of this opportunity here. Wealth principles that weren't taught to us as we were growing up. Wealth principles that were taught to other demographics, but for some reason, it wasn't taught to our culture. And for the first time, we're in an environment now where these principles are being distilled to us, and we can pass down those principles to our family members. And when we do that, guys, we have to have the right mental attitude in order to do so. For the next couple of minutes now, guys, I want to talk to you guys on conditioning the 6 inches between your ears. So here's the first concept I want you guys to think about. I want you to determine your why. Why are you doing this opportunity? And here's a mindset I want you to think about. Imagine I laid a 50-foot board right here on the floor. And I said, Kenneth, Sierra, Carol, if you walk across this board right here, I will give you $100. By a show of hands, how many of you guys will take that $100? Of course, it's a quick $100, right? Now, imagine if I took that same 50-foot board and I suspended it between two 100-story skyscrapers. And I said, if you walk across that board, then I will give you $100. Carol, like, nah, I ain't doing that, right? Most of us wouldn't do that, right? But imagine if that first building was on fire and it was burning from the bottom up. And on the top floor was your child. And the only way to save them was to go into that second building, go to the top floor or across the board and bring them back before the fire reached them completely. How many of us would do that? Regardless of the price, right? I'm sorry, guys. I do trainings up in the DMV area still for a lot of real estate agents and brokerages. And I asked that same question last month in one of my trainings, and one of the guys said, well, which child was it? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, man. Terrible, right? But yeah, regardless of the dollar amount, guys, we went and did it, right? And here's the thing about it. It was still walking across the 50-foot board. The situation didn't change. It was the circumstances surrounding it and your internal motivation that was going to determine whether you want to do it or not. So that's what I want you guys to think about. I want you to think about your goal. I want you to have a vision. I want you to have a goal. I want you to have an outcome. And I want you to have a why as to why you're doing this business. Now, I mentioned to you guys a few moments ago, I live here in Atlanta, Georgia now, but I'm from Baltimore, Maryland originally. Some of you all may pick up on my accent if I ever say to you do a blue, right? But understand this, last Saturday, how many of you guys are boxing fans by a show of hands? A few of you all, okay? So Tank was fighting last Saturday, okay? Gervonta Davis, he was fighting Ryan Garcia. And so I was interested in seeing that fight because Tank, he's from Baltimore, so I got to support my Baltimore brothers, right? And so I went to watch the fight last Saturday evening, and as I was watching it, before Tank came out, they were showing the other celebrities that were in attendance at that fight itself. And they had showed Mike Tyson. Now, they were showing other fighters and everything, you know, before they showed Mike. But when the camera went on Mike, the arena went crazy. Like, I didn't really realize the magnitude of who Mike Tyson really was, because when he was in his heyday, I was born in 81, so I was like 8 or 9 years old when he was really, you know, murdering cats in the ring, right? And so what caused me to do is I decided to go on ESPN Classic, and I wanted to watch some of the highlights of Mike Tyson, and it just so happened the Mike Tyson-Buster Douglas fight was airing. And so for some of you all who remember this, the Mike Tyson-Buster Douglas fight was back in the early 90s. I think it was 1990 to be exact. And so I was still young, so I really didn't have an understanding of what was going on during that time period. But I'm gonna give you guys a brief clip of what it was all about. During that time period, Mike Tyson was known as Iron Man Mike. And he was knocking people out left and right. Not only was he knocking people out, guys, there was not one time in his career up until that fight with Buster Douglas that he ever got knocked down before. Like, it was crazy because I forgot the guy's name. But it was one fight that I did see by Mike Tyson that I remember seeing, and it was right when he first got out of jail, and he fought, pardon my French, he fought this one Caucasian guy, okay? And literally, I remember the bell rang, Mike came out, and within like 3 hits, the guy was over, right? So Mike was a bad dude. And so I wanted to watch the Buster Douglas fight, and when I was watching this, the backstory is what truly impressed me. Mike Tyson was the undisputed champion of the world during that time period. And Mike Tyson was actually lined up to fight another prize fighter. I want to say it was Holyfield during that time, but for whatever reason, that fight got postponed. And so in the interim, to kind of keep Mike sharp and on his toes, they set up this fight with him, Buster Douglas. Now, Buster Douglas, guys, if you guys don't know, he was an amateur fighter. He didn't have much experience. He had only won like 7 or 8 fights prior to getting in the ring with Mike Tyson. And so they put this fight together to kind of keep Mike in shape and everything. And it was interesting because Buster Douglas's mom, she was a hairstylist, right? And y'all know how moms are. Any moms want to call, you got kids, you know how it is. You grab on your babies, right? So she's saying, but my baby going to knock out Mike Tyson. Mike don't know what he's in store for, so on and so forth, right? And Buster like, Mom, chill, hold on now. This is Mike Tyson. Like, he's murdering cats in the ring, right? What a lot of people don't know is that 4 days before that fight, Buster Douglas's mom passed. And he had the weight of that depression on his shoulders when he went into that ring. And so not only was he fighting the world's greatest fighter, but he was also fighting his depression for losing his #1 cheerleader. And what was interesting about this, guys, and I'm gonna play you a short clip of how this fight was looking. What was so interesting about this, guys, is that I think it was like in the 8th round, Buster Douglas actually got knocked down by Mike Tyson. Watch this short little clip here.
Oh, that's a nice uppercut that time, but drops Buster Douglas. Really clear. It's up to 7 and 8. And here it is at 9. Is he going to get up? Yes, he does. All right. And look at how that ends. The 8th round. What a round for Mike Tyson. Wow. What a...
Buster was hurt. Buster was hurt, guys. And you got to understand, there was never any person in history that ever got knocked down by Mike Tyson that ever got up. But Buster Douglas was the first person in history that actually got up after being knocked down by Mike Tyson. Now, what was so crazy about that is that as soon as he got up, the ref asked him, are you good? Are you all right? Can you continue? He was like, yeah, but you can see he was still kind of wavering there, right? But the bell saved him. The bell saved him. And he was able to go back in his corner to get refueled. Quick pause from there. I need you to rely on the leadership from this company, because they are your bell that's in your corner that's going to save you when you're on that emotional roller coaster. But now comes the 10th round. In the 10th round, Buster Douglas comes out, guys, and he does something that no fighter has ever done before. He knocks down Mike Tyson. Watch this.
Credit to Buster Douglas for making this a big fight. Tyson trying to end it with one big shot again. He's down, he comes with the uppercut. Come on, Robert, Buster's throwing shots back. Hey, look at this. Look at Buster coming back. Did he buckle the lights of Mike? I don't know, we got him again. Oh, nice uppercut by Buster Douglas. Look at this. He's knocked Mike Tyson down for the first time in his career. Mike Tyson hits the canvas. He's in big trouble. He may not be able to recover. It's up to 7 and 8. He's not gonna make it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Guys, it went crazy in that arena from what I saw from watching this on TV, guys. It was going crazy in there because Buster Douglas did something that no fighter has ever done before. And what was so crazy about that, at the end of the fight, they were interviewing him. You know, of course, the crowd was going wild and everything, and everybody was caught up in a hype session. But what was really important and really impactful to me was that post-fight interview. And they asked Buster Douglas, you know, how did you overcome the adversity? How did you overcome the fear of going in the ring with somebody that was indestructible? How did you overcome the depression and the emotions you were feeling with dealing with the personal anguish that you were going through with the burial of your mom? How did you overcome all of this? And not only did you overcome that, but you got with Mike Tyson and he knocked you down and you got up after being knocked down to come back and still keep fighting to eventually do something that nobody else was ever able to do. And you knocked down and knocked out Mike Tyson. How were you able to do it? And this went over so many people's heads, guys. Buster Douglas said, I made a promise to my mother. I want you guys to remember why you're stepping into this company. Why are you doing something different? Why is it that you're going against the grain from what everybody else in society is doing, guys? I need you to hold on to that why, because that why and your leadership are going to be that bell that's going to ring when your legs start getting weak. That why and your leadership are going to be the people in your corner that you got to go back to put the sponge of water over your face to kind of cool your body down. We're here to help you guys through this journey. Does that make sense to everybody? And what was so crazy about that is that once Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, everybody started beating Mike Tyson from that point forward. It's crazy because I heard a story. I think the guy's name was Roger Bannister. He was the first person to ever run a mile in under 4 minutes. Doctors and psychologists used to believe that you could not run a mile in under 4 minutes because if you did, your heart, the human heart would explode. Until he did. I think it was like 1914 when he did that. And once he broke the 1 minute, the 4 minute mile, everybody started doing it, guys. So I said to let you guys know, it only takes one person with your last name to change your family tree forever. Will you be that person? Will you be that person that will be able to change the trajectory of your family, and your descendants, your children's children will now be able to benefit and excel from where you left off, guys? I need you to be that person. Does that make sense to everyone? So let's talk about a couple of key things I want you guys to have. First one, I want you guys to make a decision. As a matter of fact, Kenneth, I need you to do me a favor. Kenneth Banks, do me a favor, sir. Can you stand up for me? Okay, Kenneth is now standing. Now, Kenneth, here's what I want you to do. I want you to try to sit down in your chair. I want you to try to sit down in your chair. No, that's sitting. That's sitting. I want you to try to sit down. He's lost. Can we all agree? And see, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. See, that's the thing. You can't try to sit down. Either you do it or you don't. And that's the mindset you got to have in this business, guys. Make a decision that you're going to win when it comes to this. Don't say, I'll give it a shot, or I'll give it a try, or I'll give it a couple of months, or I'll just give it a year, see how it goes. No, I need you to make a decision that you're going to win and win big when it comes to this, guys. But when you're doing that, you have to also understand that it is going to be a learning curve. Okay, here's what I'm gonna tell you. If being who you want could get you if being who you are could get you what you want, you will already have it. So you either need to change who you are or change what you want. It's going to be a learning curve, guys. It's going to take time to develop the skills you need in order to become successful in life. I know a lot of us hop on the calls on Monday and Wednesdays with Mark, and Mark is able to mark up the charts, man, and he's so clean with it and everything. And he gives you those high predictable trades. And then we have Danielle that jumps on in the morning sometimes and give you guys high predictable trades as well. And in fact, they're so clean, they're so polished when it comes to it. They didn't start off that way, guys. They didn't start that way. All of us need to be poised to give ourselves some grace and learn this skill set of training. Learn the skill set of being a millionaire in your mind, because you first have to think it and act like it before the money will ever catch up to you. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so it's crazy because I live here in Atlanta now, and I lived here now collectively for about the last 11 to 12 years. But in between that time, I also spent some time in Colorado for 2 years. And no offense to anybody on the call might be from Colorado, but if you guys have ever visited Colorado, what is it about Denver that they don't believe in seasoning their foods? How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? Like they just don't know how to use seasoning. And my people, we know what we're talking about here. We like chicken, right? It's not a stereotype, it's a fact. Okay, we like chicken. And being down here in Atlanta, guys, Atlanta does chicken like nobody else does chicken, right? And so when I moved to Colorado, I tried some chicken up there and I bit into it, and only the skin had flavor. The meat had nothing, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I went to what was considered a soul food place up there in Colorado, and I was watching them as they were preparing the food and everything. And I watched them just, dip the chicken in the batter and then throw some seasoning in it and just drop right in the grease. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all doing that too fast. That's not how you make chicken. Because down south, my down south people, we know you gotta let that chicken marinate in some buttermilk for a day or two, right? You gotta season that batter and let that chicken marinate in there, because when you let it marinate for a day or two, those seasonings just aren't on the skin. It seeps down into the meat itself, right? It's a whole nother level of eating chicken down south than it is anywhere else. But here's the thing about it. Too many people want surface level success like they have in chicken in Denver. They just want to throw success on the outside of it. They don't want to take the time to let the skill set and the mindset marinate. Listen, guys, you got to let that thing marinate. See, I'm not talking about having microwave success. I'm talking about having crock pot success. And we all know when you put meat in the crock pot, it takes longer, but man, that meat fall off the bone. Can we all agree on that, guys, right? So don't have that microwave success mentality. But as we're doing that, we have to understand that you're going to go through an emotional roller coaster. And a lot of people don't like to talk about this, but because we see on Instagram, people turning up and partying and taking trips everywhere and, posting, purchases they're doing and everything. It's all a facade a lot of times, guys, right? But sometimes it makes you feel like, man, how is it that they're winning and I'm not? And it makes you go through an emotional roller coaster. Here's what I was going to tell you when it comes to this. Many of you guys, when you saw this presentation or somebody brought you to this company, in your mind, you said to yourself, this is it, I'm going to be rich. This is my last shot. I can't play ball. I can't sing. This is my last shot at truly large money. And you're going to give it what you need to give it in order to become successful. But what's going to happen is as you're feeling good, you're going to run into some obstacles. You're going to run into some naysayers. You're going to run into some people who, quite frankly, don't want to see you do better than them. People always say they want you to do well, but just not better than them. Does that make sense to everyone? And so when you run into that, it's going to kind of knock you down a little bit. It's going to knock you down like how I knocked Buster Douglas down. Mike hit him with that left uppercut. Here's the thing.
I'm not going to tell you to not be affected by those hits. What I am going to tell you is to learn how to condense that time frame. See, some people, guys, when I see them get hit with life or they get hit with negativity, it knocks them out for a whole week. Some people a whole month. Some people, they hit adversity and it hits them so hard, it knocks their dreams and goes out of them completely, and they conform back to their little bubble. For me, for Akil, for Danielle, for Janice, we're at a level right now where we all get affected by negativity in life sometimes, but it only affects us for a couple of minutes. It'll be like, man, that hurt. All right, let's get back to it. And that's what I want you guys to be. I want you the guys that have that kind of mentality where don't think that you'll be immune to the negativity or the trials and tribulations of life. I just want you to understand that when it does happen, learn to pick yourself up out of bootstraps and get back on that horse. Does that make sense to everybody? But you got to have the right mental attitude. You got to maintain the right mental attitude, guys. That's what's going to keep you in the game when it comes to this. I'm going to be live every Tuesday at 7 o'clock to help you guys keep the right mental attitude. When I think of the right mental attitude, it's a race that they do over in Asia, and it's a race that's not supposed to be won because it's a race that's up a mountain. And it's men that, you guys ever seen one of those polar challenges where it's like in the dead of winter and men go almost clothesless into a freezing lake to do a polar challenge? It's nothing that you get for winning it. You just go through it, and it just makes you realize how crazy you are, right? That's how this race is. This race up a mountain is not to see who's going to win it, because there's never been anybody that actually made it to the top before, but it just is done to see how crazy and entertaining we can be. And so one year they actually did this race, and as they were going, and they had, I forgot how many people it was, but they had a bunch of men that were going to do it. And as they were doing it, they called go, they hit start, they shot the gun, they started on the side of the mountain. And the people on the side of the race are cheering them on and everything and laughing at them, because the higher you get, the colder it gets, and the more extreme the altitude is and everything. And men started falling off. They started falling off, but there was a handful that was still going. And the people started saying, hey, just go ahead and quit, guys. We know we've seen enough. You don't got to go anymore. We know you're not going to make it. Just go ahead and drop off. And everybody, a few more started dropping, but it was two men that kept on going. And they people saying, look, guys, stop. Don't go no further. This is getting crazy. The altitude is getting too high. What are you trying to prove here? And so one guy dropped off, and it only left one man left, and he's still going. He's still going. And it was crazy. People kept saying, look, man, you're going to die. The altitude is too high. The slope is too steep. Stop going. Stop going. And eventually they got quiet because he just kept going, and they realized nothing they could say was going to stop him. And eventually that guy made it to the top of the mountain. In fact, he was the first person ever to make it to the top of that mountain for that race. And so when they went to go ask him, how did he do it? Come to find out, the man was deaf. He couldn't hear the negativity. I need you guys to become deaf. I want you guys to be deaf to the negativity. I want you guys to be deaf to the haters. I want you guys to be deaf to all the naysayers that say you can't do it. Just run your race, guys, because realistically, last year, the average American made $60,575 last year. So what can somebody making $60K a year teach you about making $60K a month? Nothing. Because if they could do it, they would be doing it. So ignore the haters, guys, and just keep going. I got this SW on here. It stands for some will, some won't, so what, next. And I think about trading like that. Because every time we do a trade, some of us, you're new to trading. Some of us, you've been in the trade game for a minute now. And some of us, we see the trade. We see the opportunity. We listen to the markups. It makes sense based on the above and below strategy we got. And no matter how great we do that strategy, sometimes the market turns around on us. All you guys say to yourself is, you know what? Some trades will, some trades won't. So what? I'm on to the next one, guys. Have that long-term thinking when it comes to this opportunity itself. When you think about long-term thinking, guys, just understand, I want you to live your life in this business world on DVR. What do I mean by that? February 5th of 2017, Atlanta played the Patriots in the Super Bowl 51. Why do I know that date so well? Because it's my wife's birthday. And so I'm a huge football fan. But I was going to be dead if I decided to go watch the football game on her birthday and not celebrate her. So what I had to do, guys, was I took her out to a fancy restaurant, but I purposely set the DVR to record the game, and I made sure I didn't check my phone at all so that I wouldn't know what the score or the outcome was, so that when I got home, I could watch the game. We went all night without hearing any updates about the game. We're leaving the restaurant. As we're leaving the restaurant, we're passing by the bar, and a guy shouts out, "Oh my gosh, how did Atlanta lose this one?" I'm gonna keep my composure, but let's just say I was not in a happy place when he did that. Okay. But I said, you know what? Everybody was just going crazy. It must have been a good game. I'm gonna go watch it anyway. So I go home and I watched the game that night. And as I'm watching it, Atlanta's crushing. Now, if any of you guys saw the Super Bowl, Atlanta was crushing. Like at halftime, they were up by 20 points. It was all the way to the end of the third quarter, and Atlanta was up, guys, 28-3. They were up more than 25 points over New England, guys. And I just knew the game was over, but I had to remind myself, wait a minute, Rasan, this is DVR. Like, this is not a live game. You know what the outcome is already. And so I had to keep watching to see what was going to happen. And lo and behold, in the fourth quarter, Tom Brady just did what Tom Brady does, and he came back and won that game. What if we just lived our entrepreneur careers on DVR? If we just knew what the outcome was already. And no matter what happens in our day-to-day, no matter what happens in the various chapters of our book, we already know the last chapter is won. That's the mindset I want you guys to have when it comes to this. So as I wind down with this, guys, it's a couple of things I need you all to bring to the table, because these are certain things that we cannot teach. The first one is desire. You have to have a burning, white-hot desire to win. Lukewarm is not going to cut it. You have to, I think Eric Thomas used to say it breath. He said, until you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll never become successful. I need you to have that kind of desire, guys. And you got to have work ethic. You got to be able, I will tell you this, hard work will beat talent if talent don't work hard. And what does hard work look like here? Hard work here is just simply getting into your academy. It's watching the videos. It's learning from the people who have mastered their craft and that you want to learn how to do. That's what work ethic is here. And commitment. Commitment is just simply doing what you said you would do long after the mood in which you set it in has left you. I'll repeat that. Commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the mood in which you set it in has left you. And have a positive attitude, guys. Just maintain that positive attitude. It's an African chief story I heard a couple of years ago, where the African chief had a friend who just, no matter what happened, he will always say, "This is good." I'm sure all you all would agree, that's a great friend to have in your inner circle, right? And to have that kind of positivity. No matter what happens, you just always say, "This is good." And it was crazy because the chief and his friend went out on a hunting expedition one time. And while they were out there hunting, the chief went to go fire his rifle and the gun backfired and it blew his thumb off. What do you think his friend said? "This is good." The chief thought his friend was mocking him. And so the chief actually had his friend thrown in jail. His best friend, he had his best friend, guys, thrown in prison. A whole year later, the chief goes out on another hunting expedition, but this time he was by himself. And while he was out there, he was actually captured by cannibals. Now, I don't know if you guys know what cannibals are, but if you don't know, those are people who eat people, okay? So it was not looking bright for the chief. But what was interesting about that is that the first rule of cannibalism is that you can't eat any game that has any imperfections. And so when they noticed that the chief's thumb was blown off, that disqualified him from their meal. So they released the chief. So when he was released, he immediately went back to his tribe. And when he got back there, the first thing he thought about was his best friend, the one he had thrown in jail. And he was just saying to himself, man, back then he told me this was good, but because of my shallow thinking, my short-term thinking, I didn't believe him. I feel so bad, I gotta release him. So he released his friend from prison. His friend came out and he said, I'm so sorry for locking you up, man. You saw the vision of this being good, and I didn't, and I apologize for it. Can you ever forgive me? Friend said, don't worry about it, man. This is good. And she was like, what? What do you mean this is good? You missed birthdays, you missed holidays, you missed critical moments with your family. You'll never be able to get those moments back. How on earth is any of this good? His best friend says simply, had you not thrown me in prison, I would have been out there on that hunting expedition with you, and they would have ate me. So just keep in mind, guys, when it feels like life is throwing everything at you to knock you down, just say this is good. When it comes to the point where you get out of bed and you stub your toe, say this is good. When you go to get in the trade and you watch the charts, you analyzed it, and you got the retest, you saw the perfect markup, the perfect setup, and it still don't go your way, just say this is good, guys. It is all good, and it will all work out for your good. I think my mentor a long time ago used to tell me the wins will build your bank account, but the losses will build you. So just keep that in mind, guys. You have to endure it all. And I'm going to wind down with this. Enthusiasm. You have to learn how to manage the thought process that you have in your mind. Whether you win or lose, guys, is going to come down to the 6 inches between your ears. You have to maintain a high level of enthusiasm. And that's what we're here to do. As I mentioned, on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be here to teach you leadership and to get your mind right. And when I think about having that weekly call with you guys, I think about my son, Tyler. This is my son, Tyler here. Now, on the left-hand side, this was taken 2 weeks ago at Tyler's senior prom. Tyler is 17 years old now. He's graduating here next month. Tyler believes he's God's gift to women right now. Okay, you can't tell this boy nothing. Like, this is his prom picture. The boy opted not to wear a shirt. Like I said, if you don't take your little Tyson Bedford wannabe self somewhere and sit down, but his confidence is on 1,000. And I'm not here to knock it down, because I want him to have that healthy self-confidence, right? He's feeling himself, he as he should. He's a good-looking young man. But I remember when Tyler was 8 years old. And when Tyler was 8 years old, anybody's a parent on here, if you have a little boy and yes, your son has reached that age of 8, you can remember it's something about the age of 8 with little boys that they just hate taking a bath. Like, they hate to bathe themselves, and I don't know what it is. And me and Tyler used to have flat out arguments all the time when he was 8 years old about it. You know, this was a picture when he was playing baseball back then, and it was interesting because Tyler would be finished the game and he would get in the car and just the whole car would just smell like funk. And when we got into the house, I said, Tyler, just go straight upstairs, get in the bath, nothing, just go straight to the shower, right? And I remember one time he came in from playing outside, and that y'all know that what I call the outside smell? He had that outside smell all on him, right? And I was like, Tyler, don't say nothing, straight upstairs, hit the bathroom, take a shower. And he was like, but Dad, I'm not dirty. I don't have any dirt on my clothes. There's no dirt on my skin. I'm clean. I just took a bath yesterday. I don't got to take a bath today. And I was telling Tyler, you don't get it. You have to bathe daily, son. There are particles that are outside. Even though you don't see physical dirt on your body, there are particles that are outside in the atmosphere that will attach itself to your body that creates an aroma or a stench that nobody can see, but they can smell it. So you have to bathe daily to wash those particles off of your body and to cleanse yourself. Some of you guys are stinking mentally. Some of you guys don't take the time to be able to cleanse your mind on a daily basis. And because you aren't bathing your mind, you're thinking negative thoughts, and negative thoughts then become negative actions, which will bring you a negative reaction. I need you guys to spend time daily
being able to be engulfed in personal development. One of my upcoming trainings I'm going to talk about is a system that I call CORE, C-O-R-E, which stands for change or remain employed. And I'm going to talk to you guys what it means to be core in your business itself. So I'm going to wind down with this. There are 4 things I want you guys to write down if you're taking notes that I want you guys to adhere to. The first one is no matter what you may go through, don't quit. No matter what you may go through, don't quit. Number 2, no matter how impossible your situation may seem, stay the course. No matter how impossible your situation may seem, stay the course. When it seems your problems seem to be more than you can bear, develop staying power. When your problems seem to be more than you can bear, develop staying power. And the last one, when it seems nothing is happening, remember God will bring all things together for you. I'm gonna wind it down with this last story here. I've been in the networking industry, guys, now for the last 20 years. I've been blessed to, build a team of thousands of people. In my past company, got paid over 10,000 customers. God has blessed us in that arena. And I remember, I think it was back in 2010, as I was climbing the ranks with that prior company, I went full time with the business because that was what was required at that particular position I was at. But although I was operating my business full time, I didn't have the production to match full-time efforts. And I'll never forget, it was December of 2010. I was living in Baltimore, Maryland during that time. In that month, I made $200 for the month. I repeat, I made $200. Now, at that time, guys, I had 2 kids. Needless to say, Christmas was coming up, and it wasn't going to be a good Christmas for my family, okay? And I'll never forget, my wife and I, we were sitting around just trying to figure out what were we going to do, what strategies could we employ to get our business to rejuvenate. And one of her friends came over, who was at that time living in Tennessee, but was home visiting family that particular weekend. And so she came past our house, and we all were sitting around just talking about it. And her friend her and her husband happened to be my mentor in business also. And so they knew the struggles and the trials we were going through and everything. And I'll never forget, Nicole asked me, well, Rasan, what is it that you really want? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to be? And I said, well, I would love to live in Atlanta. And she was like, well, what's stopping you? I said, well, I don't have no business down there. She said, well, you ain't got no business up here neither, realistically. So what is it going to hurt you to go down to Atlanta? And the moment she said that, she then said, just make a decision and it'll happen. I can't make this story up, guys. Literally within 2 minutes after her saying that statement, I got a text message from my company saying I had a new distributor join my business. And with that company, it would tell us the name, phone number, and the state in which that person lived. And that, what we call rep alert, was for a gentleman that joined my business in Atlanta, Georgia. I said, wow, this is scary. I can't believe it, right? And so I called the gentleman. This is the day after Christmas, December 26th of 2010. I called a gentleman and I was talking to him, and it was his first time getting involved in network marketing, never been in the industry before. He was completely, green to the industry itself. And but he had a hunger about him. He wanted to win, and he just needed an opportunity. And so I told him, well, I'll come down there and do a home meeting for you. With network marketing, for those of you all who've been network marketing before, that you can make money off of customers, but to be able to grow your business, you have to be able to leverage your time through the time and efforts of other people and grow an organization, right? And so I wanted to help him start an organization in Atlanta. And there wasn't nobody really doing that business in the Atlanta marketplace. So it wasn't nobody that I could send to help him. I had to go down there myself to help this gentleman, right? So I made the commitment that I was going to come down there that following Sunday. Now, guys, I live in Baltimore. From Baltimore to Atlanta is about 10 hours. I just told you guys, I had only made $200 for the whole month in commissions, right?
And so it was interesting because they always say, once you make a decision, God will take care of the impossible, right? So that's what happened. Ironically, it was a new transit system that was called the Megabus. And the Megabus will let you ride from Baltimore, Maryland to Knoxville, Tennessee, round trip for $9. $9, guys. And so I said, okay, if at that time I had a team in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I said, okay, let's think about this. I can get from Baltimore to Knoxville, which is only 3 hours away from Atlanta. I can afford $9 to get down there. If I get down to Knoxville, I can borrow a car from one of my team members to drive the other 3 miles, the other 3 hours. So that's what I did. I booked my trip. I got on the Megabus on Saturday night, because you would get on at 11 o'clock and it would get you to Knoxville that following morning at 9. And so I got to Knoxville on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. This gentleman's home meeting wasn't scheduled until the afternoon. I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, evening time frame. And so when I got to Knoxville, I went to church. It was a local church that was there that they started at 12 o'clock. And so I went to the church service with expectations I'll be out by 1, 2 o'clock, but down south, it goes a little bit longer apparently when it comes to church, right? But while I was there in church, I'm sending out blast text messages to everybody that was on my team. Can I borrow your car? Can I borrow your car? Can I borrow your car? Everybody was like, no, no, no. But one guy, I'll not forget, Darrell Curry, let me borrow his car. Now, what's interesting about that, Darrell said, Rasan, I'm gonna let you borrow my car, but I need you to be back tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, because I had to take my grandfather to work, and his grandfather was blind. And so he had to make sure he had his car back and take grandpa to work. Cool, no problem. I get in the car, I drive down to Atlanta, I meet the gentleman that just joined the team. I do a home meeting for him. He had like 6 or 7 people in the room for that home meeting, guys. Now, I'm giving my best presentation that I could, because I knew I literally was spending all the money I had left in gas to get down there and to get back. So this home meeting had to work. He didn't know this, because I looked good. I never looked the way I felt. So I was very good at camouflaging, or what would they say, fake it till you make it, right? I was good at faking it. And so I did the home meeting, and I'm sorting the room. I'm talking to the guests to see who wants to get in. And everybody was like, yeah, I like it, but I gotta wait, or I don't have the money, so on and so forth. And quick plug, you guys are blessed to be able to get involved with this company for less than $200. The last company that I was with, that I made a lot of money with, you had to spend $500 just to get involved in the company. So I'm telling you all, you're blessed to be able to get involved with this company for only less than $200. But that one objection that everybody had at that meeting was they didn't have the money to get started. So the meeting is over. I'm preparing to leave. And one of the guys at the meeting said, man, it's snowing out here. I said, man, quit playing. It's Atlanta. It don't snow in Atlanta. God had a different plan, apparently. If you guys remember at this point, it was the beginning of January of 2011, Atlanta had the worst snowstorm in history. It was known as Snowmageddon. And so when I left his house, I went to travel back to Knoxville. What should have only taken me 3 hours, guys, ended up being a 12-hour trip one direction. I drove off the road, spun off the road off of 75 and fell into a ditch. They had to call 911 to get a truck to pull me out. It was a big mess. I get back home the following day, though, feeling defeated. Obviously, the meeting didn't go well. I didn't get any business partners or anything. And as I'm sitting there, 4 rep alerts come through on my phone from 4 of those 6 gentlemen that were sitting in that gentleman's living room that got started with the company that very next day. Because of those 4 rep alerts, guys, it caused me to go down to Atlanta again, work with this gentleman. It caused me to commit to coming to Atlanta every single week for 9 months straight to help this gentleman build his business. This gentleman became one of the hardest workers in the company that I was a part of. Him and I built a great relationship over the period of time. He became a consummate professional in the network marketing business. That guy that I'm talking about, you all, is Mr. Akil Bey. What if I had short-term thinking and I didn't take the leap of faith to meet a stranger who had the desire to win? So I say all that to say, guys, when it seems like nothing is happening, just remember, God will bring all things together for you. And with that said, guys, I'm excited to be in this conference with you all. I'm excited to be in this company with you guys. I'm excited to just change the world, guys. We are about to be some major change makers when it comes to this, guys. So with that being said, I'm blessed and privileged to spend the last 45 minutes with you all. I'll turn it back over to Mr. Bay.
Get some sevens in the chat, y'all. Some fire in the chat. I'm over here. I got to turn off my camera for a minute, man. Had to put on, got to camouflage my eyes and put on my glasses. Oh man, that brings back so many memories. And only if people knew where they can be in the future. I appreciate give me a moment. All right. Man, I appreciate you, brother, for everything that you've done for me and done for so many others, because and what God did for you, work through you, work through me, and gonna continue to work through others. Man, never in my life, I say this, when I first met you, I never think that we'll be where we are today. I'll say that. It wasn't even on my mind. It wasn't even on my mind, but I'm gonna tell you, this is good. That $200 that you made,
This is good.
Yeah, that was good. And this is just the beginning of something great, and I'm looking forward to more trainings. That story was definitely emotional, because sometimes we could put ourselves in the story while we listening to the stories. We can get the great overall picture, but when it's really the story that you know because you experienced it, and you can go back, you can be taken back all the way to that point, and then realize, look around and say, oh man, this is crazy. Look where we at. Because we are doing the same thing. The same thing you taught today is some of the same principles you taught me back then. Right? And just to be able to know that, man, over that span of time, I started off writing notes like I'm still writing notes, and looking at those notes like, hold up, I heard this before. Man, I've been doing that unconsciously. When I first learned it, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. I got to look at the notes. What I need to do next. What I need to do next. Talking to you. What do I need to do next? What I need to know what's behind the curtain. Remember that? I need to know what's behind the curtain so I have a better understanding of philosophies. And to get to the point where you're doing it over and over again, unconsciously, you will look up and realize, wow. So thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
And y'all in for a treat. My apologies, me getting emotional, but that's part of the story. And there's a whole bunch of other stories we got too. So get some fire in the chat for Mr. Greer, Rasan Greer. Y'all know his schedule. The schedules will be put up more. So next week, but I'm going to go ahead and bring our executive administrator up to the line so she can give the announcements. Makisha Styles, are you on the line?
Yes, sir. Wow. That's all I can say too is wow, because it's so grateful to be here, especially with you, Rasan, because man, I don't know if it's your voice. I don't know if it's your posture. I don't know, because I know you know what you're talking about, but either way, you always leave me with something positive. Like I know, hey, Rasan's going to be on tonight. Let me sit down, be focused, get out my pretty pen and my notepad and take notes. So thank you so much for your class, Meg. And I know the whole class is feeling it, so I can't wait to be in your live trainings every day for the rest of the time that we're here. So I can't wait. So I'm gonna give you all some announcements. So I'm gonna share my screen. When you're able to see my screen, put a 1 in the chat. You can see my screen. You can see it, put a 1. Good, good, good. So we got one person that can see it. So we good to go. Okay, there we go. Y'all coming through now. There we go. All right. So, man, especially for our guests on the line, if you have not yet got started with our society, make sure you do. You want to go to hiddenwealthsociety.com. I'm putting in the chat for you if I can copy it right. Or somebody's putting in the chat for me if I can't copy it right. So we all work together here. Boom, there we go. All right, so what you want to do, you want to scroll down. You want to read everything, right? Scroll all the way down. And as Mr. Ranson said, make a decision. When you make a decision, stuff start to happen. So you want to make sure you got 2 decisions here. You can either get started with us, tonight up until May 1st, before May 1st, for $149.95. That's a huge discount. So make sure you get started with us. Or if you're not quite ready, it's okay. You still got another decision to make where you can stay informed and make sure you fill out your name, email, phone number, and who referred you, and we'll make sure you always stand and know, okay? So make sure you do that. Also, too, remember tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Mr. Bay himself is going to be doing our first presentation. So make sure you're on the line, invite your guests to the line, your family, your friends, just everybody. Invite everybody to the line so they can actually hear about what we have to offer here in Hidden Wealth Society, because this is such a powerful society that's built here. So make sure you go ahead and invite everyone, okay? So that's going to be tomorrow, same link, same passcode at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The flyer is online on all our social media sites, and it's also too inside our community in the back office. So make sure you're there. Also, Pro Trader. Remember, Pro Trader's coming up July 28th through the 30th. Queen Borns, I know you're on the line. Boom, she on it. She already on it. So make sure you get your tickets. If you have not yet, scan the code. Go to scan the code. Make sure you check the chat. All the details are there. And also too in the back office and on the social media site. So make sure you go there. For those that are already in the community, make sure everyone knows this is your login to get into the community. I'm gonna put it right here. All right, so this is your login. So when you're ready to log in, you can go right there before the first and go ahead and log in right there. And after the first, well, you'll still see the site as well. Okay, so make sure you go there. Also, if you're not yet followed our social media sites, follow all our social media sites. We keep everything there. The recording for tonight and for the past month for all our pre-launch trainings will be on our YouTube page. So make sure if you're not already, go ahead and follow our YouTube page. And Mr. Bay, can I go ahead and show them the schedule so they already know?
Absolutely, go ahead.
All right, perfect. Because I was already ready, I was going to show it regardless, but I got y'all. So this is our schedule. So every day from Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we're still doing our above below. So if you're in a society, get ready. Everything's in the schedule. You have access to, okay, for that $149.95 a month. You got access to all of this. On Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, our money management classes. So we're learning how to create the money, right? So you got to learn how to keep it. So we got our money management class with Mr. Raquel on there. Every Tuesday, like Mr. Rasan said, he's on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, giving us that mindset that we need. So make sure you're on there. Monday and Wednesday, we're still doing our chart markups with Mr. Goldfinger. So make sure you're on there still Monday and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. On Thursday, remember that training we did with Jabrita, our trauma counselor? Yes, we still get that every single week, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then remember our very first specialty class with Mr. Curtis? We're still getting that as well with our social media branding on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And the good thing about this is that all these classes will be held in our back office in our Hidden Wealth Society back office. Okay, so if you're not already in, make sure you come right on over here to hiddenwealthsociety.com. Go ahead and get started, and you will have access to each and last one of our classes. And yes, they will be recorded. So I'm looking forward to it because, man, I already seen some sneak previews of all the courses. So y'all in for a real treat, plus all the bonuses that you're getting. So that is all that I have, Mr. Bay, and I'm going to pass it right back to you.
This is good. This is good. This is real good. And we're working on so much more that that's going to be coming. And when you all see the full website, 12 o'clock noon on the first Monday, the first Eastern Standard Time, 12 high noon Eastern Standard Time. I can say that you all are going to be excited, very excited for what we have been working on. And just know it's always going to be more added. Somebody asked me, is it the academy? Is the academy just something that someone can finish? And I say, no, it's going to be continuously growing. Every month is going to be some new course coming out. I know just with Mark Goldfinger Fair, almost every month he's going to add a brand new course to the Forex coursework. It's always going to be something brand new that's coming up. One announcement I totally forgot, but my wife, she came up. She's hiding on the side of me right now. I know I was prior project, I said that I was going to be in Charlotte, and a lot of people bought tickets to Charlotte. Well, I have to do a speaking engagement in Charlotte that weekend. So I will be in Charlotte next weekend. So because I'm going to be in Charlotte next weekend, and if you actually got your tickets and you're still going to Charlotte, just know I'm going to be there. So if you all want to, we can get together, go out to dinner, or we can sit down and go over some charts on that weekend, because I know some people spent their hard-earned money to go out there. And I'm going to be out there anyway, right? So I'll spend some time with you all there on that weekend of the 5th, 6th, and 7th. My speaking engagement, I think it's in the afternoon. I'm going to be speaking to children, at-risk children, with a few known people and former street people. I'll say that, connected to the streets. And we're looking to help the youth see a different way and go a different path, right? So that is an announcement for that weekend of the 5th. Definitely get your tickets to the Pro Trader event. For the Pro Trader event, we're putting that together. And I can't take credit for it. Sister Barnes is putting everything together, working diligently to put everything together. And it's going to be absolutely amazing as well. And this is the actual programmer calling me to make sure and give us more updates. And I'm just excited overall, y'all, for what's going to be transpiring, what we have worked so hard to bring to you all. Like Mr. Gris said, we have our reasons why. Be the first to change our family lives. And with leadership, it's a little bit more responsibility for us, because now we're just not worrying about doing things just for us. We put us and our families out of the picture to make sure that we bring the value and create a space where you can learn so that you can do for your families. So we have to make sure that it's top notch. Anything that I would want for myself, I want for you. Anything that I don't want for myself, I wouldn't give you. Okay? Y'all put some 7s in the chat if y'all understand and know what I'm talking about, and just excited about that, right? Just excited about that, okay? So this weekend, be safe. If you happen to go out and have a good time, happen to have a few drinks, be responsible. Don't get sloppy drunk. But if you find yourself happen to overindulge, make sure that you find someone that has their license. Find someone that you trust and know that has their license, that haven't been drinking, so they can get you home safely, or call an Uber, get home, come back, call an Uber to go get your car the next day, because we don't want you to hurt yourself or anyone else. And we definitely are not going to bail you out of jail. You're going to have to sit there and think about the mistake you have done, especially after we have spoken about that. We do it every single Friday, right? So next week is a big week. We will no longer be using Zoom. We will discontinue the Discord. We are all in on the platform. Our new house will be good enough for us to come and move in, and it's a spectacular home built on a solid foundation, principles of God. So with that said, y'all have a great rest of the weekend. Oh, I do something extra. Do we have anybody here to have any questions any comments. Since this is our last time on Zoom, I might as well go ahead and, let you raise your hand if you have any questions, any comments. If you enjoyed the free sessions, right? If you decide to join us, whatever the case may be. Brother Jason.
Peace, 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 family. I hope all of y'all are doing ultra well, ultra out in this space and time. Peace to everyone that is on the line for their own rescue. To the King, Rasan, I just give thanks to the Almighty for you and your works. You're a powerful gentleman, and I can say so much from what I know of you from the time that I was blessed and honored to meet you. And what you're bringing forward is truly powerful. I'll just stop right there. What I had to do, though, is put in the chat as well as in the community the powerful interview done by yourself and your queen. It is on relationships, dear wifey. I had to put that there because that just brings forth a transparency of the leader that the people are receiving. You know what I mean? And I just had to do that because I have the power to do that. And I want to make sure that I share that with the family. I want to make sure I share that with the community. And this is good. So give thanks. Don't want to overcook it because enough people may want to say some things. Strength, and honor to you in your works. Word.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
All right. Ms. Sutton.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say too, thank you so much, Mr. Bay, because I have learned more this month than I have the whole time that I've been in the screen. And I'm looking forward to learning even more in this platform. I wanted to know on next Saturday or next weekend, what day and where could we meet with you?
What I do is this, within our community on our platform, I'll put what the time and day we'll meet.
Oh, okay.
Or just text me.
I can
And I'll let you know. I think I should put it, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put it inside of the community. That's where we'll meet at. I'll put it inside of the community, day, time, and location. I'll put it in the community chat. And so everyone can see it that's within the community. And then I'll make sure I get that done by Thursday, no later than Thursday.
Okay, but will it interfere with the boot camp, or to be outside of the boot camp?
It may be outside of it. I don't know that schedule, what they're doing. So I don't know, but it may not. I don't know, because I don't want to keep people up late or keep people out late. So I want to do it definitely in the daytime, maybe the evening time. So I don't know if it is or if it isn't, but I know I'm going to bring value. That's what I do know.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Juana, gotcha.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Hey.
I'm sorry by saying thank you very much for giving us the ability to have this platform and be part of this platform. Danielle Dunn, I want to thank you personally for a hand up and not a handout. I love you, my friend.
Gratitude. Okay. I see we have Ms. Sutton. I see your hand. You still have your hand up. Okay. Good to go.
I apologize, it should be down.
Okay, no worries. Okay. So, listen. The 7-course meal has been cooked. Y'all have a great rest of the weekend. We got to get back to work to make sure this platform, we're working over the weekend to make sure this thing is better than what it already is. I just want to, hey, when y'all see it, what I want y'all to do on Monday, what I want y'all to do when y'all log in, start taking screenshots and just put it out there, like just letting people know what it is. Y'all don't have to put everything out there, but let people know when y'all see it, if y'all like it, which I know y'all are going to love it. All right. So with that said, y'all have a good rest of the day as always. Peace, love, and freedom. And if anybody come with that negative thinking, y'all already know. We're going to try that. We're going to do our best. We're going to do our best to help them up. But if they try to pull you down, we're going to kick them in a pit. This is Sparta. At the same time, Hidden Wealth Society.